Okay, it looks like we are waiting, going live. It says it's waiting on this screen. Are we live? It says we're live. Yes, we are live. Sweet. Hey, how you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Great.
Happy hump
I feel like I need to say, hey guys, like YouTube video style, like and subscribe below. Hey, this is Chris Bell, EdTech Team, and we're really excited to bring this special webinar to everybody today. We're going to be talking about applied digital skills in the upper elementary classroom, and this particular webinar is brought to you by Grow with Google. EdTech Team is partners with Google for Education, and we wanted to highlight that the resources for today's webinar are held at that URL. I'll post that into the chat in just a moment once we get started. And let's see, I'd like to first introduce myself and then our participants. My name is Chris Bell. I'm the Chief Operating Officer with EdTech Team. And I am excited. I'm working on this project closely, supporting applied digital skills. We're working across our team and trying to help bring awareness about what this great curriculum is all about and how teachers are using it in their classroom. So let me pop on over here and see if I can get this a little bit larger so that everybody can see that. And there we go. There we go. All right. So today I'm joined by a special guest and another special guest who we didn't anticipate would be here, but I'm excited to have her. So I have Rosalinda Jaimes. She's a grade 4 and 5 combo teacher in Temecula Valley in Temecula, California. Her Twitter handle is right there. I will not butcher it. I'll probably pronounce it or mispronounce it incorrectly. So I'll let you pronounce it, Rosalinda.
It's Apa Jaimes, Apajaimes.
See, I would have butchered it. So I'm glad that I let you do that. We're also joined by another special guest. Mo, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Michelle Oski, and I also teach in Temecula Valley, and I've been teaching 5th grade for 33 years.
33 years. That's pretty fantastic. Yes. You got me beat by a long time. So for those of you that don't know, Ro and Mo, as they're commonly known, are the tech fairies. Do you guys want to talk about the tech fairies really quick and what that's all about?
Sure. We were drinking, educational technology Kool-Aid in 2015 and attended an EdTech Team summit and came back to our district and was like, we need to learn all these things. And they started calling Google Fairy because we just were training staff and our teachers. And we were coming home from a summit one day, and I was like, I don't think we can use Google Fairies for people to know who we are. Infringement, they'll sue us, whatever. And so Mo and I were sitting at our dining room table and came up with the name Tech Fairies. So we try to just share a bunch of technology with lots of glitter, gratitude, giggles. She came up with that tagline.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, I appreciate both of you joining me today to share about applied digital skills. I want to talk just for a moment about those things. Session resources are listed here as it transitions on our slides. You'll see at the bottom, edtech.team/APSKI-SEPT18. That'll take you to the resource and the slide deck for today. Within that, there's also a link to a form that you can complete. I can't post links into the YouTube live chat because they don't allow that. But if you get to those resources, you'll be able to come back to this at any time, and we'll be adding a link to the webinar recording after the event. Once again, edtech.team/APSKI-SEPT18. And at the end of this, we'll be drawing. So if you're watching live and you are joining us, then you can actually complete that form, and you'll be entered into a chance to win a free online course from EdTech Team from our just-in-time course catalog. So let me advance here just a second. As I mentioned, my name is Chris Bell. I'm Chief Operating Officer with EdTech Team, former elementary teacher, as well as teaching at the middle school and secondary levels. I've been with EdTech Team since about 2010, helping grow what we now know as EdTech Team into something big and global. And we really love doing the work that we do, inspiring and empowering educators across the globe. So about Applied Digital Skills. Applied Digital Skills is a free video-based and online curriculum from Google that prepares students of all ages for the growing number of jobs that require basic digital skills. That's a mouthful. But basically, it is a really fantastic self-paced curriculum that teachers can use in a variety of ways in their classrooms. One of the things that we've heard throughout the years in working with Google Apps for Education, now known as G Suite for Education, is that teachers really wanted some starter projects to be able to just take and apply in their classroom really quickly. And Google's really done that with this curriculum. So as we share about these things, you know, it's project based. So students are learning these digital skills through applied technologies. So I used to use a similar vacation planning activity on my own. So I had to create this activity where students had to create a spreadsheet formulas, had to do all these things. And they've turned it into a fantastic project that is turnkey. And at the same time as students are learning how to do some of these life skills, they're also learning the technology skills alongside that. Who would have thought learning spreadsheet formulas was an exciting and empowering way, but how many times have you used these things now? I use them all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, all the time.
It's life.
Saves us time, and it's really important for students to be able to understand these things when they go into the workforce. Another fantastic project example is producing a blockbuster movie while learning graphic design and document formatting. So there's really great opportunities for students to be exposed to different things than they would normally be exposed to in their traditional curriculum. And then one that I really like is that students are learned to develop a peer editing tool for providing feedback. And they learn to code through using app scripts. So it's a really fantastic project as students are able to scaffold into these projects and skills that they develop over time. It is project-based learning. It is really built around a video curriculum, providing step-by-step instructions. So one thing that's key is that teachers don't need to know everything in order to be successful at using this curriculum. I like that because this doesn't prevent the teacher from getting started right away. It says there's over 120 hours. I want to say there's way more, almost more now. And there's a fit for basically any subject. You could really remix and turn this into something fantastic and great no matter what subject you're teaching. The breakdown on the right side, I won't talk about what those are, but you look at the digital skills that they're learning through these projects, along with the practical life skills, connecting all of the things that we're talking about in school to reality. So students are really learning all of these different skill sets, and then they're being prepared for the workforce, for college, for different opportunities that may come their way as they emerge from K-12. It is free. I mentioned it before. Free is good. It is flexible too. So one thing that's nice about it is it's a curriculum and it's a set of lessons that can be used and plugged in many different ways. So it's modular. So teachers can take part of a lesson, a full portion of a lesson. They can use it however they want. And it is self-directed, so you can have students working on it independently, or you can have students working on it together in small groups. The lesson plans are also provided with each lesson. So you have a real understanding of what the outcomes are, what the lesson objectives are, and then there are also rubrics connected to it that you can use to assess student work, or alternately, you could have students self-assessing themselves against against their work and what's expected of them. The content of the lessons is aligned to ISTE standards, so it has the ISTE seal of alignment. And one thing to notice is that there are alignment to state standards. And so the state standards range from library standards to state technology standards to career and technical education standards. So there's a lot of different curriculum alignments that have taken place. A lot of the states are aligned in the United States, while others are being added. So here's an example of if-then adventure stories. And it's 2 to 3 hours for the lesson, but it could be broken up over a period of time. So if you have 30 minutes, you could have students working on this for 30 minutes, an hour. It really depends on what's flexible and what flexibility you have with your schedule. And students can really learn some great activities through writing if-then adventure stories. And I think, Rosalinda, you were saying you just dove into this with some of your students. I'll let you talk about that in just a second. But you know, these are great starter activities for the classroom. Another one is creating a presentation. So these are really great entry points into the bigger part of the lessons contained within Applied Digital Skills. And it's presented in bite-sized chunks. Just like anything, I recommend, you know, students can pick it up and start it. Hi, Shirley, are you able to see this? Are you able to see the video? Sorry, I'm pausing because I see a chat come in. We're live. We're all live. Can you see video? I can see video.
I can.
I can see.
Well, you can see me.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the other thing up.
Well,
on
I got
the
my phone to just see if we can see it. And I like to look at myself.
Really? Make sure you're on mute. All right, let's see. Are you able to see it? I just want to make sure. All right. Perfect. The fun part of webinars, right?
Yeah.
Here's another example of creating an editing tool with programming. So here's an example of combining math, computer science, and English in one package. Really fantastic opportunity for students to engage in doing something different and seeing how that connects to writing. It connects to the English classroom in a very different way than they would normally think about school or writing and English in general. So I'm going to stop for questions. Looks like Amanda Smith is here. And we've got Shirley McDonald. Anybody else, if you're watching live right now, please pop into the live chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. So, Robert, where can you find this? So if you go to this particular URL, edtech.team/APSKISEPT18, that'll take you to the slide deck for today. And within there are links to the Applied Digital Skills curriculum. There are links to other resources in there. Let's see, Robert from Fairfax, Virginia. How's DC area today? Lots of traffic? Amanda, thanks for joining from Texas. Cindy from Chicago. Oh, you surely got it going now. Great. And anything you missed, surely will be in the archive that will be linked into the slide deck that is being displayed right now. Shirley is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And Kari from upstate New York. Hello, everybody. We're excited to have you join us tonight. Perfect. Catherine is also in Lufkin. I wonder, am I spelling it correct? Or am I pronouncing it correctly? Lufkin or Lufkin? The first or the second? She's not going to respond to me. It's chat only. So, oh, Jennifer, I am so sorry. Murray, Kentucky. Thanks for pointing that out. Welcome, Jennifer. We're really glad to have you here from Kentucky. All right, so what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and move forward. We have, as I said, all of the resources and kind of some of the things I just covered are contained in the slide deck that is at edtech.team/APSKISEPT18. Sorry, I have to repeat that. I can't post links into the live chat. Google doesn't like that. They don't want people spamming webinars and things like that. So I certainly understand that. So what I'll do is just skip ahead to our guest. So with us, we have Rosalinda, who is joining us from Temecula Valley Unified School District in sunny Southern California. She's about an hour away from me. That's also where I graduated from high school, so many, many years ago. So that's back when it was a horse town. So let's see. I have a question for Rosalinda. So Rosalinda, before we introduce our other guest, Mo, once again, what's one interesting thing about yourself that very few people know?
Oh my gosh, what do I say? A lot of interesting things. I'm really quirky. That I have just started to learn how to draw. So that's something I started last July, and not many people know that. I just been sketchnoting or just drawing, and so I sort of was, didn't really share that with people because I don't think I'm a very good artist. Well, no, I've changed that. I think I'm a better artist now, and not many people know that. When they look at my drawings, they're like, wow, you really know how to draw. And they don't know that I've only done it for a year. Like, truly tried and really devoted time to it. Mm-hmm. I was tired of drawing in the classroom and kids always thinking that I was drawing cows, and I wasn't.
Fantastic.
So embracing that is something that people don't really know about me. They would never think that I don't consider myself to be a good artist. So,
well, that's fantastic. I'm guessing you were inspired by Sylvia in some way, Sylvia Duckworth.
Yes.
Yeah, she's inspired a lot of people. And Mo, fantastic. All right, let's pass it over to Mo, Michelle Osenski. Sorry, I always call her by her nickname. I'm sorry, but Michelle Osenski. I'm gonna pass it over to her.
You want something quirky about me or something?
Yeah, what's something interesting about you that no one knows, or a few people know?
As a teenager, I was a nationally ranked tennis player.
Really?
You were? Trick, I knew that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She got skills.
You still play? Do you still play?
No. I've got issues, but no, it was a good time back then. I can still teach, I can coach, but I can't play anymore.
That's totally understandable. Okay, well, I want to go ahead and I'm going to pass the baton over to Rosalinda. Let her kind of share. We're going to ask a series of questions for her related to applied digital skills. And one of the questions I have, I guess, first and foremost, so applied digital skills was originally designed for middle school and up, so secondary, and all the way up to adult learners. Yet you teach a grade 4 or 5 combo, and what made you decide to try using this in your classroom?
So I was teaching a 4 or 5 combo last year, and when I was introduced to applied digital skills, I want to say it was about April, early March. And at that time, my kids, now they had been with me for almost a year now, school year, they were pretty much proficient in most Google tools. And I felt like I was running out of ideas. I felt like I was starting from scratch every single time. We're going to make this project. We're going to do this. And I just wanted to have something that was more packaged, easy to differentiate for kids without without me putting in so many hours on the flip side. And so when I saw that curriculum, I was like, well, let's just try it. Let's just see. And in April, when we did the Ifthen, they were phenomenal because they had known at that time how to share and do those things. It was a great tool, and already lessons developed, you know, for my kids to go ahead and just start to use right away. So it was definitely a lifesaver because I had a lot of kids who were early finishers, and I didn't just want to give them projects that I was trying to create and spending hours trying to do that.
Perfect. Well, what about you, Mo? What about you? What made you kind of do that for your 5th graders?
And last year we were like, it wasn't really a webinar. I guess it was just a chat we were sitting in. And at that time they hadn't even mentioned elementary school. And we're sitting there like, our kids could do this.
Oh yeah, the Applied Digital Skills chat.
So we started looking into it, and I actually didn't branch out into it last year. This is the first time I've been using it.
Oh, okay.
But we were sitting there and just saying our kids could do this. So I think that's where the kickstart was. And my kids weren't quite as proficient as Rose, but I didn't try it last year, but this year we're already into it. And I was surprised when we got into it that there is collaborative pieces. It's not just, you know, stick them on the earphones and have them work. There are collaborative pieces where they're working with partners. And so you're not just plugging them in and ignoring them.
And having a latte.
Having a latte? Going
to FaceTime.
That certainly wouldn't work it down in the primary grades. You'd be herding cats the whole time. Okay, so question I have for both of you is, you know, how have your students responded to this curriculum in your classroom? So, you know, it's great to have that package solution, but how are students responding to it?
So I actually had 2 different perspectives. So this past April, my kids were like, oh, we know how to do this. We know how to do like it. For them, it was a big challenge because they kept seeing all the titles that said middle and high school, and my 4th and 5th graders were like, we can totally do this. And so for them, they wanted to feel accomplished and successful, and so they were so into every single video and replaying it. And wait, I think he made a mistake in one of the videos. They're like, there's another way to do that. It was just interesting to see them. This year, I'm teaching just straight 4th, and we're starting the If-Then series, and I have kids who are like, I can play the video again? And I'm like, yes. And one of the boys looked at me, and he's like, and you're here too? I'm like, yes, I'll be here all day with you, helping you. I think that, you know, my first set of kids were all about the challenge and ready, and the second group, they love the empowerment it gives them. I can replay the video. I can do it at my own pace. Ooh, I'm working with a group. So it's interesting to see those perspectives from my kids.
What about you, Mo?
My group this year, it was the first time we're doing it, and I'm hearing, you know, they're listening through their headphones, but I'm hearing, ooh, cool, ooh, ooh. And I kept hearing it over and over, and they're just checking in on them and what they're listening to, and they were just really, I think for my kids this year is the independence. They like being able to work on that at their own pace and know that they can, like, have a couple of the kids that were in Rose's class last year are in my class. So, you know, they've already experienced some of it. So they're kind of running through it and working together on things. So they're going to be able to go through it a lot faster. And they really enjoy the independent work.
That's interesting because I didn't really think about that angle. You're really scaffolding in independence. And it's a great way to do it over time.
Yeah, I think that they like that. Like that one boy who, like, I can replay the videos. You know, it's not a one-stop shop here. Like, you have to learn this and move on. He could go back. And I think that's so appealing to even some of our quiet learners who aren't the ones who are going to raise their hand or take time to warm up to you, you have that kid who now is like, I can play it. I can watch this. And our visual learners, oh my gosh, just helpful for kids who are visual learners, seeing the videos, you know, step by step, and then it being repeated auditory, you know, auditory wise. So.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I think that you guys both raised some interesting points about how this provides some independent opportunities. What about this? What are some challenges that you've faced when using this with students?
We giggle because
we always learn things the hard way.
So here's a little statement. Mo and Ro go rogue. We go rogue all the time. And I'm sure sometimes our IMS department and our IT department, they appreciate the routes that we create for other teachers. I'm sure that they wish we would inform them first. So last year, just a little bit. So last year we were able to access it, get on it, do it. This year it was not whitelisted. Oh. And so, you know, you have a whole class of kids and Chromebooks and it's not working.
It was working for my kids who had their own devices. So we have BYOD. So the kids that had their own devices, they were logging on just fine. The kids that were on school devices weren't able to get it. That was my very first session. And then we've also run across the whole Google Drive sharing thing. Yeah. If there's a doc that has to be shared, we have to have it on our Google Classroom so that we can share it with the kids. They can't access the applied digital skills one. So working with IT departments, and I'm sure ours isn't as tight as some, but we do get into fights with them occasionally.
Yeah. So in our district, we have to, our students are not allowed to accept any file outside of our organization without our domain. Right. So that was a big hiccup for that. All of a sudden, I was like, wait, make a copy, everybody. Oh, and we had to then make that copy in our own drive. And then the workaround was I could either share it to kids or just put it in Google Classroom and share it to for example, in the Ifthen activity, they work in groups and only certain kids have access to that doc, and then they share from there. So in Google Classroom, I was able to share that doc with those 6 or 7 kids, so that way they could continue the activity. So that was a hiccup, and I try to mention that when I share and talk about applied digital skills, like, hey, be careful. The other thing is another challenge that I found.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Was, I think you mentioned it before, where the teacher doesn't have to be the expert. I have never used Google Apps Script. Shh, don't tell anybody. And when you see some of these projects that have that was a challenge for me, because I sat there and I thought, I say this to teachers all the time, and now here I am going, I don't want to do that project. So that was a challenge for, that was a personal challenge for me to say, if a kid wants to try this, I need to eat my own words and let them try it, even though I had never touched Google Apps Script before. So that was
let's see. How do you find time in your week or your days to fit this in?
Just kidding. So I know that we have modified days on Wednesdays. So we're not to 1 at our school. So it's like the Hunger Games for the Chrome cards. To try to get a class set. So we try to push BYOD. You know, in our classes, we at least devote 30 minutes, if not more. I know in my class right now, we try to aim for Wednesdays because it's a shorter day and I can get access to Chromebook at least 30 minutes. I do have some Chromebooks in my class. So as kids finish, they can go and continue their work if it's not a collaborative project? What do you do?
On Thursdays, I have time built into my schedule where throughout the year they're going to be working on their passion projects. And since I started with the research project with Applied Digital Skills, they're learning good research skills to get ready to do their first passion project. Then I'm going to do the presentation one before they jump into that. So our plan is to have this done before parent conference time. So when I meet with the parents and the families, we can fix and how they prepare to get ready to go. And then as we grow out of that and I give the kids more independent time to work on their passion projects, I'm hoping that they'll pick it up and they'll work on it during their free time. And I'll find some other projects that I'm going to tie in with. But right now it looks like it's going to be that 30 minutes on Thursdays that we're doing.
Okay. But you're going to build skills over time, which is fantastic. So especially if it's something you can consistently work on each week, even if you are able to only carve out that amount of time. That works. Yeah, that's one of the things that, the question always comes up with anything new and different is where am I going to fit it in? And typically what I've heard, I've watched this happen for years, especially when I was working in the classroom with other people or running instructional technology. Oh, well, I'll implement that next year or in January or this or that. And what happens is the school year just goes by and you didn't take action. So, the fact is, like the way you're doing it, Michelle, like carving out 30 minutes, if that's what you can fit in, that's what you fit in. And to me, that's the best way to do it. Consistency, right? Consistency builds habits and you just start there and work towards it.
I think people need to remember that when we have curriculums, we can always substitute. So, if there's a certain skill that we're teaching in our, textbook curriculum, you don't have to use the textbook. You can use something different. So I think
you said that very nicely.
I know.
Good job, Michelle.
Substituting things in where, you can do something different. You don't have to do what's scripted. You can say, oh, this would be fit in here. So like I'm saying, these 30 minutes, but there'll be other times where, it's going to be math class, but we're working on this applied digital skills. So I'm going to shove it into math. So it's not necessarily just these 30 minutes that we're going to do applied digital skills. I'm going to weave it in and, put it in places where it belongs curriculum wise.
Especially if it's going to help build other skills. Like it saves me time from trying to teach them how to research while we have all these other projects going on, when we can just say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're working on. And it's consistently, they're always going to get that training, those skills. And I don't have to, I know I'm trying to
textbook.
And I'm done with the textbook. I don't have to make another copy. It's like, I don't have to sit here and think, oh my gosh, my language arts has 33 lessons. Like I can look at that and say, look at what applied digital skills will provide for my kids and helping them gain and understand and apply these concepts. I think teachers sometimes, I know I fall into that trap where I need them to understand and identify, and I forget to get them to apply. And so I've really seen this curriculum really help me do that. Sure, they know how to find a Google Doc in their Drive. Sure, they know how to use Comic Sans, 18 font, word art, but are they truly applying that skill? Sometimes we get kids that come up to us, they know how to do all these things, but they never actually applied them. And the digital skills curriculum takes them down that path.
Yeah, that's ideal. And I like what you're describing as substituting it in. One thing that we talk a lot about in some of the email courses that we've developed for integrating applied digital skills is, it's remixing. There's opportunities to take these lessons and once you feel, comfortable with the curriculum, remix it. Take it and put a tweak on it, a spin on it. Your students, once they understand how everything works, they can then take those skills that they've built through other prior lessons and do something better, different, other, that really much more closely connects to what you're trying to accomplish.
when you mentioned earlier about the letting the year go by and not trying something out. I always think, it's not on top of everything else we're doing it instead of something. So it's substitution we've already talked about, but it's not something more we have to do, just something we're doing instead.
Weave it in.
Weave it in. Well, I think you've really covered my last question, but maybe you have something else to add. Are there any other tips for teachers who are just getting started, based on your experience?
Do it with a partner. It's always nice to have the teacher friend, try it with both of your classes, see what works, what doesn't work. I think the hardest part for some teachers is being transparent and vulnerable and knowing that, maybe you didn't realize you had to get it whitelisted, and now you have 28 set of eyeballs looking at you like, you can see it start to crumble. I can't get to it. And you're just sitting there going, find center, find your center, but I know that like when we've done stuff together, it's so much easier for me to walk over to her room and be like, oh my gosh, did you see this? Or how did your kids react to that? So I always try to give someone that tip of pick another teacher partner who might be willing or unwilling and say, let's try this together so you don't feel so alone. Because sometimes it could be extremely frustrating to sit there and not realize, oh, all I had to do was put in a help ticket for my, tech department and it would have been up and running. Or even being connected on Twitter and asking for help when you're on the Twitter field, like, oh my gosh, please help me, Well,
I think what she was saying, like,
good. Sorry, Michelle.
Oh, just that I was prepared for the whole document sharing thing. I knew that I had to do that, but then I was the first one on it this year and didn't know that it wasn't whitelisted because last year it was. Yeah. So we're always running up against those things where our IT department puts little stumbling blocks in it, and I didn't anticipate that. But since I knew, I'm like, what do I do? She goes, oh, I gotta get it whitelisted. So I took care of it in time for the next week. But it is so nice to know, because we had talked about the document sharing and how we had to get ready for that. So I was prepared for that. So it is nice to have a buddy.
It is. It's always easier to share the blame too when something goes wrong, right? No, I have found that that team mindset and getting a buddy on board, you can figure out what's working, who to go to for other resources. There's just a lot that you can do when you're teaming up in this approach. Any other final thoughts?
I do. When I first tried it last year, I was a little timid and didn't want all of my kids on at the same time. So I paired them up as drivers and navigators. Like they were taking turns on the same Chromebook. So that way, in case any issues came up, I wasn't running around to 32 students.
Only 16.
Yeah, I was only 16. I'm like, I can handle half. Or they were able to help each other out too. So don't feel that when you're getting ready to start like the Ifthen that everybody has to be on a Chromebook. It could be maybe their partner sharing at that time, especially if you're doing it in upper elementary. You might have kids who don't know their login or they're not sure about Google Drive or things like that. You can pair them up with someone who knows their way around a Chromebook or can provide assistance. So that was helpful as well.
To add to that, with the Ifthen adventure stories, one of the things that I like to always recommend in that one, and very particularly, is you can do most of it analog. So do all the brainstorming, the branching, the paths, the story part of it, and then have them work through the tech side of it. That is a nice blend. It also makes your time a little more economical, and it's easier to connect right into the curriculum that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I am going to, thanks for your time, sharing all of the things that you are doing. I really appreciate it. I have a couple of things. Let me share my screen again over here. I have like a command center going on, so running these webinars is high tech. You're supposed to laugh at that. What questions, I'm gonna ask, open this up to anyone in the chat. What questions do you have for Ro and Mo about their experience, or just any questions you have about the curriculum in general? How many in the chat have used Applied Digital Skills? Feel free to +1 that if you've used it in the chat.
I +1 in the chat? Just kidding.
You can +1. You can always +1. Of course you can.
I don't think we can see the chat.
I can see a chat, but you can't see a chat. Yeah, no, that's the wrong chat. On the YouTube live channel. That's us. That's us. Okay. Well, one of the things that I wanted to highlight that Google has rolled out, the Grow with Google team, they have a back-to-school kit for getting started with this. I know many people have been using, have been back to school since the beginning of August. So now you're like, oh, I'm ready for winter break. But everyone rolls back to school at different times. So this back-to-school kit has a lot of great resources for getting started in the classroom. There are the suggestions for starter lessons, some printable posters, and if you go in there, you can actually even request a nice large Applied Digital Skills poster if you're in the United States, and they'll send one out to you. One-page handouts, there's lots of great resources directly on that page. So let me see if I can, just 1 second. I was pulling that up. There we go. So if you go to that URL, it will take you directly to their homepage, and you'll be able to go to the starter kits on the Applied Digital Skills website. So edtech.team/digital skills will take you to the Applied Digital Skills website. Just a quick little shortcut for you. And then the other things to share with you are, once again, to get started with the Applied Digital Skills curriculum, you'd want to sign in as an instructor by going to that link, edtech.team/digital skills. Set yourself up with a class. You can take a look at the lesson plans, and then you can share a class code with your students and get them started today, or tomorrow, because school's out for most people today, unless you're on the other side of the world. But it's a real quick process to get started, and they have some great starter guides in there in that back to school kit, and we highly recommend that. The other thing that I had mentioned previously is that EdTech Team is a partner of Google's in this Grow with Google program, and what we've designed with them are subject-specific email courses that help you get started using Applied Digital Skills in your classroom. So we've got math, science, English, language arts, social studies, which is coming live, I think, this week. We've got using it with second language learners. So if you work with second language learners and you need to use it, we highly recommend that. There's a course on that. And they're just 5-day email courses. And what you get by signing up when you go to that URL are just quick little email each day walking you through different ways that you can integrate this into your classroom. And we have ourselves on the webinar today, Rosalinda, who drafted a nice little course for customizing Applied Digital Skills lessons for upper elementary students. So if you go to the URL on this page, you can get signed up. It's a quick little email form, and what you'll be able to do then is every day in your inbox, you'll receive an email from Rosalinda and EdTech Team highlighting how you can get started utilizing Applied Digital Skills in your classroom. So we're proud of those, and we appreciate Rosalinda working with us to make that a reality. Questions. What questions do we have from the chat? before I get into the name drawing and all the other fun stuff. One thing I'd like to highlight is coming up October 8th through 12th, we will be supporting an Applied Digital Skills Week with Google and with Grow with Google, and we have a lot of fun activities planned for that. Look for an announcement regarding that coming out very shortly on social media and via email. So we're excited to share about that. We'll have something going on each day with challenges that teachers can participate in and win prizes. And we'll have some special webinars with Googlers and with others who are implementing applied digital skills in their classrooms, and kind of some of their lessons and the things that they have done to do a little bit different and how to bring it into their class. So with that, make sure that you've completed the online course form that was linked in the slide deck. And what we'll do is we'll draw a name from the winners. So I can't post it in there. So there we go. We're getting all our entries in right now. Google does not like us to post. Hold on one second. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't like URLs in those YouTube lives, and I understand. Spams, robots, things like that. So make sure that you submit that form. You'll be able to select any course from our EdTech Team U on-demand course list. So lots of great choices in there. I'd like to promote EdTech Team. So follow us on EdTech Team at Twitter at EdTech Team. Google Plus, we have our large Google Plus community, as well as supporting a number of the Google educator groups across the country. Visit edtechteam.com. We have a very thriving blog and lots of great resources in there. We're also on Facebook, which is not showing up here. After this session, we'll be posting a link to the archived webinar and the archived chat. And then we have a couple other links. I'll also post the links to the email courses and any other relevant links that I had from today's webinar. So look for that to be updated momentarily after this webinar concludes. So you have all those extra links in there as needed. And so let me get out of here and refresh our page. Let me do my ninja picker. And the winner of the online course is Amanda Smith. So Amanda, look for an email from me. There we go. All right, so Amanda, I'll send you a quick email and the details on that for the online course. So look for an email from me after our webinar today. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and for anyone who's watching the archive, be sure to check out the resources. Any final parting words, Ro and Mo?
No, yes, I always have something to say. Just, give it a try, give it a go, and pick a buddy and share what you know, put it on there with the hashtag Grow with Google or with EdTech Team. Share your victories, share your obstacles, because I'm sure we or someone else out there could definitely help. Or even, ideas that were just shared today, for me to be excited to go back to my classroom and try. So enjoy, have fun.
Thanks. Anything else, Mo?
No.
Perfect. Well,
I always talk more than
well, I thank both of you for joining me this evening, and I really appreciate it. Hope to see you in 3D sometime soon. And for everybody that joined us via chat, I appreciate it. And we hope this is a great resource for you. And we really do encourage you to try this with your students. Just get started today and give it a try. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Signing off from sunny Southern California. Have a great evening, everyone, and talk soon.